Welcome to episode 408 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about the connected, ever-changing ecosystem. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and each week we break down the latest news, updates, tips, and hidden features across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, Vision Pro, and Apple TV, all with insights from friends, experts, and the Apple community, because here we read the release notes so you don't have to. So glad to be here this week, and let's take a look to see who is here this week. And Jill McKinley, you are here. How you doing, Jill?
Oh, I am ready to get outside. I am excited for this weekend.
Yes, it's supposed to be warmer, so that's going to be good. Marty Jencius is here. How you doing, Marty?
Yeah. Good. I teach on Thursday nights, so that ends about an hour before this show starts. So I still have some of that in-classroom punchiness. So expect some of that tonight.
Well, that is good, and it should be good for the show tonight. Also, here is Guy Serle. How you doing, Guy?
I'm doing just fine. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm going to stop because I was going to say something that was just not going to go well, and so I'm stopped right there.
Oh, okay.
For the benefit of everything.
Very good.
Health control. That's my middle name.
And Chuck Joyner, glad to have you here this week. Chuck, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Dave, and I'm making a note on February 12th at 8:09 p.m. Eastern Time that Guy Serle exercised restraint.
Yeah, that was kind of a first.
Don't expect it again.
Yeah, okay. And last but certainly not least, Eric Bolden. It's so great to have you. How you doing?
Awesome day. T-shirt weather is back. Gets any warmer, and I'll have to turn off my camera.
You might. So a lot of stuff happened this week. All kinds of releases. We got a new iOS, and all the OSs were released this week. Some beta discussion, and a couple other great topics this week. But let's start with Vision Pro. Excitement is afoot with Vision Pro. They did release the final version of visionOS 26.3, and it doesn't have a lot of amazing things here, but it does. It is the next release that was released since September of last year in 2025. And you just go down to the headset and download it. It says basically fixes, security improvements, and it's recommended for all Vision Pro users. Marty, did you get it updated? And did you notice anything?
Yeah.
What did you notice?
I didn't notice anything. I thought in previous versions, and I think I had 26.3 on there already, but when I logged in today with the headset, because we're going to talk about another thing that occurred, I think, with Vision Pro today, I immediately got called for an update, and the update was like 190 megabytes.
Yeah, it wasn't
the typical huge update. And so basically security fixes of what was left on the beta, I presume.
And Eric, I assume you updated because it isn't beta.
Oh, yeah.
Anything, and you noticed?
Not really yet. I mean, other than right after I updated, I spent the rest of the time updating even more apps. But it went smoothly for me.
Okay. Well, that is a good thing. But this was announced today as we record, or was it? Yes, it was today. A few hours earlier this morning, it was actually announced that I think hell froze over.
Yes.
YouTube is launched a native app on Apple Vision Pro. Chuck, this might twist your arm. It might. It was one of the biggest apps that was missing off the Vision Pro platform and at its launch over 2 years ago now. That changes today. That's the official YouTube app for Vision Pro. And when it was first launched, Google said the Vision Pro app was on its roadmap, but suggested that people use Safari. Oh my God, that was a painful experience. But it's in its absence. All these third-party apps started popping up, and it ultimately got removed when Google complained about them. Starting today, you can go through and watch it on YouTube natively on visionOS. And one of the things standout features here, and there isn't a lot of videos yet, is the fact that it has native immersive video section. I just tried it just a few hours ago, ready for the show, I installed it and started playing around with it a little bit. There is only, I think, maybe about 8 or 10 immersive videos right now, but there's a section on the Vision Pro that you can just tap the button and it can bring you onto these immersive videos, and it was immersive. There was some great. I think I watched one where I think you're near a water source. I saw the water flowing, and there was a lot of other things. Again, it didn't have a lot of time to look at all those videos, but there was a lot of great experiences with it. And Eric, you tried it. What did you?
Yep.
How's your thoughts on it?
Well, and it was really nice because you could look like on some of them all the way around you, not not just 180. So that was really nice. It's a nice app. There are some rough edges, I guess, where, trying to figure out, well, how do I subscribe to somebody? How do I see comments? How do I like something and follow somebody? That wasn't really as smooth as I would have hoped, but it's about the only way to see immersive content on YouTube in the Vision Pro.
Yeah. Marty, did you get the chance to take a look at it?
Oh yeah. As as soon as I noticed it, I had some time this afternoon. I downloaded it, and I went to the spatial tab first.
I'm showing some screen.
And there were the spatial tab was just really quite amazing. There were lots of Winter Olympic videos in there.
Of course.
So I started one where you're laying down in a luge, and it was shot in spatial, and I screamed downstairs as loud as I can, "I think I'm going to be sick." It was pretty cool in that sense, that there was a lot going on, and looking at it. I also looked at some of the shows. Chuck Joyner is like all over my YouTube feed.
Well, me too.
And the shows look really good. Particularly the ones, Chuck's look great. Then I looked at the ones that were developed through Ecamm, and it really is quite interesting to see those in that full screen spatial view.
Yeah. Have we twisted your arm yet, Chuck?
No, I'll offer this from a non-Vision Pro user. This has always baffled me as to why YouTube pushed back so hard, because especially as they're trying to drive subscriptions or revenue, it's a mystery to me why it took this long. I would have, unless they were not happy with the quality of the videos that could be presented, and that really has to do with the original videos. So this does make it more appealing to me, because I would think entertainment would be a big potential use. So I don't know if my arm's off yet, but it's behind my back a little.
All right.
Here's what I speculate about that. They did not do a native app for a long period of time, and the first rollout of a native app was on the Galaxy XR. And I have one of those, and I was really underimpressed with the quality of what I could see through the YouTube video. They weren't doing spatial video on it, and so I'm not sure how well the Galaxy is selling, but I think YouTube's like, we're going to hold off on this market with the device that we have a relationship with first, and I think they kind of went, oh boy, we better get on the Vision Pro.
I've had the YouTube app for 5 years because it was on Oculus. It was one of my favorite things. It's been great, and not just the YouTube version, but the immersed 3D for goggle version of it, and I have loved it. I spent a lot of time there just seeing things around the world, and walked around fire dancers and different countries, and it's incredible. And for you guys to get that in Apple Vision Pro is an amazing step forward, because there's so much content and it is all very good.
Yeah, I have two questions.
Yes, of course.
Are the ads immersive as well?
Who pays for ads?
I don't pay for ads because I have premium.
I don't pay.
I don't remember ads.
Second question is, make sure you go to YouTube and look up G-Men Show and let me know how it looks in Vision Pro.
All right. We'll do that for you.
Okay.
I wonder. I didn't try to see if you could actually mirror the display with the YouTube app. I wonder if you can. Guess
You
can try that.
You can share the display.
Because I know some like immersive video through Apple TV you can't.
Yeah.
But so you can. Did you try it with YouTube?
I need to have somebody there so I can know it really worked. But there's a button that says you can do it.
Okay.
When I clicked on it, it said there's nobody else here. So,
I shared it to my Mac
later.
I shared it,
and then he got very sad.
No, I mirrored it on my Mac. That's what I did. That's what I usually do.
that would work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Marty.
Yeah. So, there was another one that I don't know if you brought this to our attention, Eric, is another one called Vision Play, the Vision Play for YouTube. I tried it. I was very not impressed with that app. I tried it for a few minutes and, I was like, I think YouTube did a pretty good job, with this. And it is, it does give you a bigger screen, but it doesn't have access to the immersive videos. At least I didn't see that. Eric, what was your experience with this?
You don't get the immersive videos, but I use YouTube to watch a lot of training videos.
Right.
And tutorials, and those were not immersive anyway. And what I liked is I could make it big, because a lot of times they're presenting in a small area in the middle. And so having a screen that's full wall size, and it's bigger than I could make it if I was watching through Safari. So that seems to be its one feature, giant video. And it seemed to be easier for me to look at comments and follow and subscribe. I suspect the YouTube one will improve shortly, because that's a really pretty big part of it.
Yep, I would agree with that. So that's what we got for Vision Pro this week. I want to welcome everybody in from the chat room this week from youtube.com/in touch with iOS. We have Witherbucket, we have Cletus, we have Web Bixby. Thank you for being here, Web. And we also have Brian. How you doing, Brian? And Brian said this about the Olympics, and I think it's kind of funny. In the Olympics, there are winners and there's losers.
Oh,
bad joke, Brian. Very bad joke.
Or loogies? Did he say lugers?
It says lugers. It says lugers.
Oh, okay.
Pistol.
Yeah, I like that.
So, but thanks for everybody for being here. You can be with us live here every time we record. So come join us. All right. So let's move on to beta this week. Well, there is no beta because iOS and all the OSs got released this week. 26.3 is now released out into the wild. It came out yesterday as we record. So it is, it did release today. So, and it was just a little over 2 months after Apple released the 26.2. And of course, you go into this settings, general and software updates to force it to be installed. There's a multitude of unspecified bug fixes and security updates. There's some pretty serious security updates, so it's pretty much recommended to go ahead and update this. So there's a number of different things that were in here, and we're going to go through all this that's in here. But that's good to see that they have done some the updates for iOS and iPadOS, and there's about 35 specific security fixes that were announced were found, and so there's complete detailed security the release notes from here. And here I'll show you here. This is from 9 to 5 Mac, so it does have the link here to all of the security release notes if you really want to know what was in particular. So a lot of security updates, 37 the total for iOS and iPadOS for 26.3. So there's doesn't necessarily have any evidence of them being exploited, but it's you got to be wary of it. So so please update. I mean, you got to do it. I think it's important that you do update to this. It is important to be secure, and there was a number of features. So we'll hit on those features here a little bit with 26.3. We've been talking about it. Transfer to Android occurred, and they did expand to more models of Android for those, and vice versa. So you can go back or forth. We talked about this earlier, and I tried it on my Pixel 10 XL, and it did work pretty flawlessly. It was pretty impressive. It matched the apps that were on the Android device over to the iPhone device, and did download them automatically on your iPhone if there was a matching app, and in most cases there is. And health data and the devices paired with Bluetooth and protected items are not transferred over to the device. And Google has also implemented a similar feature for transferring data from an Android to an iPhone. So the two-way process is between between that. And then the weather wallpaper, they did some updates and some little bit more limited to precise location for carriers who had that support. So a number of other things that came out here. It's interesting to see where this is coming, but this was a sign potentially if Mac is if they're going to finally release a Mac on the M5, the M5 Pro, M5 Max, and potentially M5 Ultra. So we'll see where that goes. So much more that's out there when it comes to those releases. Has everybody updated yet? I hope most of you have. Chuck, I know you probably waited. Finished. You just waited, right?
No,
I'm with Guy. I'm doing mine as we speak because I figure this is a good time that I'm occupied and I don't have to have the phone. Mm-hmm. And so, but I did want to wait for at least 24 hours to see if there were any reported problems, and so far not. And so, Guy, you showed yours. Mine's creeping a little bit, probably at about 20% right now. But,
okay. Well, Chuck, you show me yours. I'll show you mine.
I don't want to see yours, Guy.
He made it up for that intro.
Yes.
So moving on, watchOS 26.3 was released, unspecified bug fixes, so nothing really notable to talk about when it comes to watchOS. The HomePodOS, I wish Jeff was here, and we could talk about this. It was released again. It's got performance and stability improvements that doesn't improve. So we definitely got to go put that out. I have my HomePods to set to automatically update, but you can go and manually update that if you go into the Home app and tap it to update it. I'm sure I probably have to do that. I didn't do that one yet, but so check that out. And then tvOS had their update as well, and again, bug fixes, security improvements, nothing notable to do that with that. So went across all the OSs, and Apple did release new old versions of iOS, as well as macOS and iPadOS. So they have 18.7.5, and they also got macOS Sequoia, Sonoma updates. So they hit those as well. So you got those updated as well, because we'd also talked about a couple weeks ago where they wanted to update an iPhone 5S to iOS 12 so it can still work with messages because of the certificate. Apple also released some beta firmware over on the AirPods, so that's going to be pushed out, but I don't do beta on AirPods. That kind of be dumb since I want to still work. So I'll let other people try that. So, and then we go into macOS. They did release macOS Tahoe 26.3. A lot of bug updates on there. Important to update that right away on the Mac. I know, Chuck, you wait a little bit before you iron out the bugs on your machines. But it's going to be a couple more weeks, and you'll already be starting ready for. They're going to start beta testing 26.4. That's going to probably be more feature pack because of the SLAD feature pack and the functionality, I should say, and more. So nothing too notable on the Mac side of things with the beta. Yeah, this was a good question that was asked here, is why shouldn't you buy the next MacBook Pro? Because Apple is planning to launch a new MacBook Pro models as soon as March, as it's being speculated. The M5 Pro and the M5 Max, notably. That's why I'm waiting, and I'm ready. And as I've talked about this a number of times, that my M1 Pro is still working, but I'm ready for a new one. And I got some gift cards burning a hole in my pocket that I want to upgrade. So, yeah. So is it going to be the biggest update in years? We don't know. So Apple does say that I don't see any any conceivable reason it's going to get a touchscreen, but things have changed before with that. I doubt I'd see that. But come on, it's going to be competing with iPad. Why would you put a touchscreen on a Mac? It just doesn't make sense. But we'll see. I think again, it's more of a rumor than anything else. But I think we'll be ready. I'll be ready once it does come out. So let's move on and talk about something that's been pretty hot in the news lately. That's been the unfortunate thing with Savannah Guthrie and her mom, who got kidnapped, and she did have a Ring camera on her door, and there wasn't a place. So we have been putting cameras on every porch in America. It's been from doorbells to backyard flood cams, and we're living in a most recorded time in history, really, if you guys think about it. I mean, many of you guys, you have cameras in your backyards, you have them on your doorstep, you have some cameras inside your house. Is that pretty notable to many of you here on the panel that you've got those? I don't have a lot of cameras. I have one out now that I'm getting a new house here soon. I think I'm going to start giving some more thought to expand upon my horizons and really dive into HomeKit and get that going. But so it's really a big thing here. So again, as I said, the recent missing persons case of Savannah Guthrie, home security cams have once become part of the public conversation. And it raises an important question. Are these smart cameras actually making us safer, or are they creating a neighborhood surveillance grid? What do you guys think about that? Is it a surveillance? I mean, that means they're surveilling your neighbors, but it has come in handy a lot of times in the with police, and it's very helpful to help them catch the bad guys if they are terrorizing your neighborhood, thefts, and But the best part is when you catch porch pirates, when you put some paint in it, and when you pick them up and it explodes in your face.
Better.
Yeah. And then a woman complaining and says, why did they do this? And I said, why did you steal their package? To the police. So what's your thoughts on that with surveillance? Eric, what do you think? Is it a privacy concern, or is it something that you feel safe that you're glad that your neighbors have it as well as you?
I think it's a huge privacy concern. That doesn't mean it doesn't occasionally work well. I mean, there was a recent ad saying, oh, you lose a pet, and the system will take a picture of your pet and go out to everybody else's cameras and then send a notification out so that the person nearest your pet can notify you. Oh yeah, we saw. That wasn't something that was advertised when the camera was originally purchased. It's a little unclear who gets to see the video. If the video is sort of centrally stored, anyone potentially could see it, or at least not see it without clearing it with you first.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm using a Wemo doorbell camera going through Apple's HomeKit, which seems to be fairly secure. Maybe not quite as open to 12 different people monitoring and keeping track of video and storing it for a really long time, but I don't worry that the video is going to wander out to someone else. So, I guess that's my biggest concern is misuse of the video under the guise of we're just trying to make you safe.
Yeah. Chuck, you got cameras? You use them as well? I think if you remember correctly, you have Eufy, right?
I've got a bunch. I've got Eufy, I've got Wise, I've got Ring.
Okay.
So, and listen, it's a double-edged sword. And the Savannah Guthrie thing, I think, is going to be interesting to see how this affects the narrative that comes out with a lot of these, because this has made things a lot more personal to a lot more people. Because Savannah is so well known, with no disrespect intended, and this is a dangerous comment, but some of the other missing persons things, no matter how much publicity they get, there's a tendency, I think, to sort of keep it at arm's length. With Savannah being so popular and so much in so many people's lives every single morning, I think this has really had a big impact on maybe how people think. Because it's one thing to say something that's objective, and it's like, well, we have this debate over cameras, and then you're missing someone that you really care about a lot, or that a friend who's, in this case, missing their mother, and you think, it doesn't matter. just we've got to find her, and we've got to find the bad guys. And so I think it's going to change the discussion. Yeah, I feel a lot more secure, and I live in a fine neighborhood, and I don't, it's not like we have a crime problem.
Same.
But at the same time, it makes I want to know who's at my front door before I open it. I would like to know, if I can look out and see the front lawn and see what's going on out there.
Yeah.
So is it a surveillance state? Yeah, maybe, but I know that there are a lot of video doorbells. You can after a while you start to learn which ones have which kind of lights. So you drive through the neighborhood and it's okay. There's a ring, there's a nest, there's another ring, there's another nest.
It's like looking at iPhones. iPhone, Android. Who has what?
Yeah. So I think it's I think it's the way we are right now.
Yeah. Couple comments here in the chat. Cletus, he says he's been inundated with requests for cameras or updating your camera system, and has improved its coverage. I believe Cletus may work in this industry, has very much a lot of knowledge of it. And thank you, Cletus, for requesting this topic. That's what inspired me to do this tonight, as well as what's been going on in the news. So I don't usually use topical things like this, but thank you. And then he also says the most of the new cameras are focusing on AI integration. He has a Blink. He tried to figure out colors my ring at the shop. And as well as he made a comment about Wise there, Chuck. Wise is so insecure. And we know that they especially I have a whole bucket of them, and the slightly newer ones are okay, but those original cubes, oh yeah, don't even plug those in. Those are very they're not even, don't even hook them up. That's how bad those are. So
well, it depends on where you aim them, Dave.
Yeah, true.
And I'm serious about that. If I can aim it at a back porch that is not exposing anybody else, it gives me a vision to that back porch, and I'm not wasting the camera.
That's true. I think I'll fire them back up, see what they can do when I go into my new home. So, Guy, do you have any thoughts? Do you have home cameras like these in your house?
No, I don't, and that's pretty much on purpose. I feel that so many of these cameras demand an online presence for them to even function, and that really bothers me. Privacy, you're kind of throwing out the baby with the bathwater when you hook up these devices that have to phone home. And we've talked about this before. I just don't like the idea of devices that I have no control over putting out information that I may or may not want to give out. Now, if something happens, I'm certainly willing to look back through whatever video, assuming that I finally go out and get whatever video I may have. But I'm not interested in just somebody saying, "Oh, okay, well, let's check Guy's cameras and see what they have." And maybe that's my my past professional life when it comes to surveillance. I'm just not comfortable with some things that are going on right now, and unless people start making devices that stay within the home, I'm going to avoid it.
Okay. Jill, you have so go ahead, tell us. But you got.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's Eufy. You get a home storage, and I don't think it goes out to the internet. I think that's how it works. But I have a surveillance state in my house. I live alone. I never answer the door after dark, and some of them are for nature. So I see possums and deer and coyotes going through my backyard, and I like that. But the thing is I've had the police come to my door a few times. There was a missing girl who was taken by an older man, and they were able to follow down the street that person with that girl. And so I was able to go back and look and see what time they crossed in front of my front yard. There was one time that a car hit another car, and a lawyer came to my yard and wanted my video. And I said, you can send the DA, but I'm not going to give one lawyer the video and not the other lawyer, because maybe it doesn't show what you wanted it to show. So now you're going to throw it out. So I'm happy to give you video, but I'm not going to give one side video, I guess. So I've had that happen, and I think it's very valuable. I live on a major street. There's no expectation of privacy on this street because it's a very major thoroughfare, and I do have some cameras in my house. It used to be to watch the cats. Now it's to watch the bird. But I feel, pretty safe. Like I said, that I'll give you another example of it. I had a cat sitter that was supposed to come to my house every day, feed the cats, play with them for a half hour. Right. I paid her for that.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, "Oh, I've been coming." I said, "Why aren't you coming?" "Oh, I've been coming. I've been coming." I said, "Well, I have cameras everywhere. Not only," and I told her about that the first day. "I have cameras everywhere. Don't freak out, but I do." And I said, "My door hasn't opened and you have not crossed any camera." And I caught someone basically ripping me off. I paid a good amount of money to have someone come. So I don't know. I think it's more helpful than it is hurtful. And I think catching criminals, catching people who are kidnappers is most important. And in this case, we see, it looks like they imagined who was behind that mask and it ended up being the wrong person. So there is danger in that. But I don't know. I think in this, okay, I'm going to say one last thing and I'll be done. I like the fact that we own them and they have to have a warrant as far as I understand it. So I like it better than the state owning the cameras. I like it better that we can say, yes, in this particular case, I'll give you the video. But no, not in this particular case, I will not. And I think that's okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Marty,
as long as you have control over it.
As long as you have control over it.
And Marty, you have a last word on this.
Yeah, I live in a cul-de-sac and so there's plenty of action going around, cars coming down and turning around on it. I have exterior cameras that I've set up. Primarily, I set them up I used to just have a door camera. It wasn't a doorbell camera. It was a camera at the door. Then I changed the system over because I changed over the internet, couldn't get a 2.4 gig bandwidth. So I wound up going out and getting AOSU. I don't know how to pronounce that. A system that did 5 gigabyte bandwidth and bought new cameras. Just about the time that there was, there's no subtle way to say this. I'll try to, but just some concerns of maybe some people coming over and causing trouble. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get those systems set up. So we had one set up for the driveway, replace the one in the doorway, and put 2 on the back porch because we have a bi-level porch and with 2 entrances on it. I forget about them. They go into an app. I can look at them if I want to. Most of the time, they run out of power because I didn't want to have to do the wiring. And so they're all rechargeable. And they'll last a good long time, but I forget about them. And I remember them like when I know I'm going out of town. And that's when I turn them on and really are paying attention when I'm out of town. We have an interior security system, no cameras, because you never know when I'm going to walk around in my birthday suit and forget there are interior cameras going on. So,
yeah.
Well, we do have security for doors and things like that.
Yeah. So,
I've never been able to do things with HomeKit. So I run everything through the proprietary app. It works fine. And I have controls of turning it on and off, and it's off more than it's on.
All right. So this was a great conversation. There's, like I said, there's so many different devices. We could probably spend another half hour just talking about what there's out there. But we hit the big ones like Ring, and Eufy, and I'll have some links in the show notes. Some of these devices out here, and Google's Nest Cam is another one, and of course all the Apple HomeKit secure video is available, and it's compatible to it. So, and nice thing is about it, you can access it from your iPhone, your iPad. You've got it. You got it with you all the time, so you can. I do now. I have a Google Nest doorbell, and anytime someone walks up to my door, I get notified, and I look and see the mailman put the mail carrier. It's a lady here, so she put it in the mailbox. She's putting the mail in the mailbox. I can see when a package arrives, and keep an eye on it. So that's nice to have those things. So, but that was a great conversation with that. So, but let's go ahead and move on to some other topics this week. Speaking of a doorbell, there is a way you can never miss your doorbell while you're wearing headphones on the iPhone. Noise canceling headphones are great for blocking out distractions, but they also can block out sounds that you actually need to hear, like a courier at the front door with your all-important package. I seem to remember that when that iPhone gets delivered and you don't hear the doorbell, right? And I got ticked off because they put the UPS sticker on the door, and I had to go to the UPS depot to go pick it up. So you want to be able to hear this stuff, and when the doorbell rings. So this is called sound recognition. It's the feature in question that your iPhone's microphone to continuously monitor these specific sounds. And here's kind of the steps here that I found here and talking about it here. And the way you enable the doorbell alerts is go into the settings in your iPhone. It's under accessibility, and then under hearing, you tap the sound and name recognition, and then tap through to sound recognition, and it will then toggle that on, the sound recognition, then tap sounds. Under household, there's a choice for doorbell, and when you toggle that on in the next screen, you'll also see the option to choose a specific alert tone. So note that the iPhone may need to download a small file. That's okay. We got enough space these days, and so the Wi-Fi and data connection could also be needed. And then you can train it too. So something cool to have. Did you guys know about this? I remember this being discussed, but I found this to be pretty fascinating that you could set this. And of course, it's an accessibility, for someone might to have some challenges, from hearing especially. Anybody know about this?
I forgot.
I don't remember seeing this. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have friends' fathers who's deaf, and I'm going to show that to him right away.
Oh, good. So I did find something that's some helpful. I think people will find this to be helpful, because, like I said, there's plenty of times where we're doing other things. I wear my AirPods all the time, and especially when I have it in, I want to have it so it's quiet and I can't hear a thing other than the music. That's what you want to do. So it's very cool to see where that goes. So, another thing I found here is interesting. I'm still trying to just grasp what the iPad can do with multitasking. In fact, I at work I want to be actually put together. I might even put together some sort of training, for the show or something else. And this was interesting article here from 9 to 5 Mac that allows you to. He said iPadOS 26 multitasking got better when I changed this one setting, and they did make some major changes. No doubt about it. Navigating the windows around, it's really cool that you can move them different positions now, and it makes it more multitasking like Mac-like. But you can freely resize windows, overlap them, and do the things that Stage Manager once tried to do but never was great. But how the great things here. And then this shows the inside of the settings on the app. When the multitasking in gestures reveals a menu option, you can do automatically show or hide the dock. You can do that in here. And as well as closing all windows when you swipe home. I always got frustrated with that. Any of you guys get frustrated with that using your iPad? You're swiping up and it just moves to the left or the right. And because we've been trained, because we're so used to moving that window up to swipe it away. And now you have to get used to that. So there's now some more toggle changes that you can be a little more familiar. So it does, of course, the iPad does function a little differently than the Mac does. So, but this is a great article. Take a look at this as far as how these changes go. You guys agree with me? The multitasking for Windows and iPad is not user friendly, especially with folks who are not real savvy with using the iPad all the time, right?
It's better than it used to be, but it's still. I
would say this improved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've shifted Windows off, and I'm like, how do I get you back? Come back. So, yeah.
I feel like, again, because it was not the way that the iPad was originally, it's gotten so much better. You just have to take the time to learn to use it. and integrate it into your thinking, because we, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, we were trained for it to be a one app at a time device. And then there were a few things that were added, and it became a couple apps at a time. And now they've tried to push it farther. But I think I know I have to go back and look at times. There's things I've learned how to do, and my fingers have learned now how to do it without thinking. But I still need to go back and remind myself that, oh, it can do this. Or I stumble across an article and it says, are you using this? And it's like, shoot, no, I'm not, but I should be. What's wrong with me? So if you're not sure, go and look it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
For me, what complicates it is because I'm on macOS right now. So I went in to look at desktop and dock. There are a gazillion things in there. And I don't know what each one of these does. And their description isn't really very clear. So it just, I'm overwhelmed with information of opportunities I can do that I wouldn't have been overwhelmed with 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Usually when that happens, the best bet is to not do it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the way they are, or you'll just end up being very unhappy. I'm delighted with iPadOS and how it works. Are there some things that are a little off as compared to other windowing systems? Sure. But we are now at the point where the iPad for a large number of people can be their only computer and do everything it is that they want to use a computer for. And that's amazing. When you look back at what the operating system for the iPad used to be like, you're right. It was a one application at a time kind of device. Even before the windowing system, the only way you could really get around it would be to, flick up where then you'd see all the other applications that you had open recently and then go to a different application, but it was still full screen. And if you needed to exchange information from one program to another program, well, good luck, because it just doesn't work that way. And for the most part, it still doesn't work that way, but it's getting better. So I'm very happy with the direction that Apple has taken the iPad in.
No, I agree. It just takes a little more getting used to. That's for sure.
Sure.
Anybody else? All right. As we heard about a little earlier this year, actually, it might have been last year when this was announced that the Apple Card is moving to Chase. This was an interesting article that came up about everything they know so far. We all know the story of why Goldman Sachs is ditching it because they were losing over $1 billion on the card, and the partnership was since 2020. So I won't go into all that, but I wanted to hit more of the details of how everything's going to transition over. Apple does have a card issue transition, but during the transition period, you're going to be able to existing Apple Card users will not have to apply again, which is good, and you'll still get the 3% on some items for daily cash on purchases. And it'll stay on the MasterCard network, which is, because I think Chase uses Visa in most cases. The payments will be the same way. And then, of course, the balances will be by Chase. And it will continue to be managed through the wallet app. And, there's a lot of other things. The physical card might or might not change, which I hope not, because I'd be sad to have our titanium clanky card that we have. Then, although that stays in my wallet most of the time at home, because I never use it.
Yeah.
And of course you'll get updates if something changes on that card. The one interesting thing is the monthly installments will still be available for Apple purchases at Apple stores and on the Apple Store app. The card will still not have an annual fee or any foreign transaction fees, which is good. And then, of course, it'll list Chase as the issuing bank. But the interesting thing is the Apple Card savings account, which was very popular. I use it. I think everybody here uses the savings, Apple Savings, I would hope. And Wall Street Journal did a report that Chase is going to launch a new savings Apple account as part of the Apple Card deal. Additionally, customers with the existing Apple Card savings account will get to decide whether they want to stay there or open it up with an account with JP Morgan. So I'm wondering, that was one of the things that kind of interests me. Is it going to stay with Goldman Sachs? Is it going to stay with Chase and stay with the same terms? I don't know where that's going to go. So I wonder what everybody's thoughts on that is.
I just thought, if Goldman Sachs was losing $1 billion, how is it not going to keep happening?
Well, savings accounts, that's,
Yeah.
can't imagine that would affect it, right?
$1 billion, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, there are a million questions here. And, Goldman Sachs, has a bit of a record for, having not been terribly successful in consumer level credit cards. And so, will Chase be any better? Will any of the other options be any better?
Well, at least they have experience at it.
Chase is good.
Experience.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead and move on to some of the news this week. Apple apparently acquired a new database app, acquired a Canadian graph database company, Kuzu, last year. It just was found here. It wasn't really publicized because it happened back in October of 2025. There was an undisclosed sum. The company's website was subsequently taken down as its GitHub repository was archived. And that's commonplace for Apple acquisitions. Kuzu was an embedded graph database built for query speed, scalability, and ease of use. It offered Kuzu Explorer, a browser-based database that displayed data points as linked nodes, and Apple had to inform the European Union of its acquisition owning to its significance, but there are a few details about it. Now, Apple already owns FileMaker, which is a cross-platform rational database, and via a subsidiary. So it's unclear what Apple's going to do about this. Did you guys know about this? 'Cause I sure didn't.
No.
Oh yeah. You
didn't know about this?
Yeah, I saw the news on it when it happened. I'm excited about it. I mean, yes, they already own FileMaker, but for most folks who want to do databases, FileMaker is kind of out of the reach of their cost. So kind of interesting possibilities here. Is this going to be part of could it be part of a new creator suite? Could it be an app that's added in for people to do simple things? My love for Bento has never left. In terms of a database for simple organizations. I used it for a conference one time when I was coordinating a conference. So I need something with a little less speed and engine than FileMaker and cost than FileMaker that's simple and doable. This looks like a pretty sophisticated piece of software that these folks were developing. So who knows if they're going to make it dumb it down for Marty.
I'd forgotten Bento.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bento had a cult following, I think it was.
It's Microsoft Access Reborn.
Oh Lord, no, nothing.
No, please.
No. Nothing is Microsoft Access Reborn. Microsoft Access should be buried.
It won't go anywhere, trust me.
And they won't support it anymore. I mean, they won't do anything with it. It's the same product it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think it's interesting what's happened to databases because FileMaker, you're right, Marty. The pricing of FileMaker is a bit much. Bento went away for reasons unknown. And when it did, sort of the whole concept of databases went away with it. There are a couple options out there, but there just aren't a lot. I mean, if you think back, and I'm going way back in time, folks, but AppleWorks, it had one of its key tentpoles was a database. And then everybody decided that more specialized databases seemed to be built into apps, because a lot of apps are just glorified databases. Yeah. So, would it be nice to have something back for us mere mortals? And, because I've looked around and I've looked at a couple things, and then I get distracted and go away. But I would love to find a relatively simple database that will just do things for me that I don't need to do because otherwise I've got to do them in Excel and just, that makes me nauseous to think about it, or in Numbers, which is really not built for it.
Yeah.
And not that Excel is, but, a database program, maybe, Marty, I hate to say, I hate to think of it as being dumbed down, but I'd like to think of it as being made more approachable.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking is I use Notion, which I presented at MacStock and talked about it. And Notion, in the end, is a database program with a very friendly front end. And we don't call it databases because we're going to freak everybody out. But it has all the query ability. It writes it for you. If you get Notion AI, it's great at it. And so then I started thinking, is it possible that Apple could go down this route of a consumer-friendly, bringing it to regular people like Notion has? Because you could write queries in Notion, but you don't have to.
Go ahead, Derek.
It occurs to me that if you're going to be doing more stuff with AI and trying to run queries and keep track of stuff as you're going along, that AI system maybe needs a database more than just about anything else to be able to keep track of what's in progress and where it is in the conversation. So maybe it's something to do with AI.
Yeah. Well, Eric, you also made a good point to our friend Jim Ray, who has Panorama, is another database program that he's very successful with. He's got his following of all his great users. He obviously does very well with that product. So there's another one right there. So, but like you said, avoid access at all costs. I mean, SQL Server, that's still around, and then more in the enterprise world. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to say the least here. So, let's move on to the next story here, and that is that YouTube TV is getting cheaper sports, news, and entertainment bundles. YouTube is splitting YouTube up into sections of tailored YouTube TV plans, allowing subscribers to pay less for a smaller selection of channels. TV should be easy, as their blog says, announcing the change. There will be 10 plus new plans. 10, geez. It's going to be across sports, news, entertainment, and family. The prices are going to be $11 to $28 below the $82.99 price for all you can eat. New subscribers will have access to lower price for the first 3 months, and a 10-day trial will be available. So it goes through all the tiers. So of course, the sports plans are always going to be the most expensive, and so you can break down the bundles there. So I've been a pretty happy YouTube TV subscriber. I think it has a really nice interface, and I still like the local channels. I still like to have them. I mean, yeah, I've got a Tablo TV, but you know what? The Tablo TV cannot be it's not as user friendly as it should be. Because then you got to go to a different box, and yeah, it works with the Apple TV, and but the channels don't change smoothly like they do on YouTube TV, and YouTube TV tends to be a better experience. But that's the main reason I like, because I still like watching the local channels of the main networks, but who knows where those are going to go too. So, what do you think, Jill?
I got out of, cable TV about 20 years ago. So I've been with it, but I did do YouTube TV for a while, and it was absolutely the best service out there. And I've really liked them, but I think having more customization, because otherwise we're getting back into the same cable TV thing again.
Right.
Now I'm buying YouTube Gold, and I could just go back to Spectrum and buy cable again for the same price because of the cost. So I think giving people more options might actually fix this. I don't watch sports, so would it be nice to have, everyone's going to be able to mix and match to do their own thing, I hope.
Yeah. How about you, Chuck? What do you think?
I'm with Joe. I think it's difficult because if it's almost like if you like sports, then you're going to get these 25 sports channels. And maybe I just have a passing interest in sports, or maybe I'm interested in a particular sport. Same thing with any other category you want to name, whether it's movies or TV shows or drama or, chick flicks or sci-fi. You can go a little bit crazy, but they got to do something. I mean, because everybody is getting really burned out on the subscriptions, the high price of subscriptions, and every 10 minutes, it seems you turn around and at least one of the streaming services is increasing their cost and really not offering anything additional for it. And so this may be a way to at least narrow it down, and you can pick a package.
Yeah.
I personally still believe that there is a place for you pick 5 channels, you pick 10 channels, you just pick 15 channels.
Right.
Regardless of what they are. Now, I know that flies in the face of some of the contracts with organizations like ESPN, but I really think that's where it needs to get. And frankly, if I could pick my 10 channels or my 15 channels, I'd be willing to pay more than maybe some of these bundles just to have access to exactly what I want. There's no fluff. It's just what I want.
Yeah.
I agree.
I also am wishing for, the sun not to come up tomorrow. I mean, it's probably impossible.
That's a terrible wish.
Well, no, it's not. No, it's not.
For the sun not to come up tomorrow?
Yeah, well, then you don't get sunburned.
You don't have to go to work.
But it'd be dark on the golf course, Chuck.
Well,
there's a downside to everything.
Sometimes the way I play, it would be better if I were in the dark.
And it would be heat death of the universe.
Go
ahead, Marty.
I look at what's in this article, and I think what bothers me is it gives me multiple opportunities to be disappointed. Because I look at the stations, it's like, yeah, I like that, but wait a minute, where's my one ESPN? Or, well, no, that's in another package, son. You got to go over to the other package to get that. And so, I was on a service that you could get, I don't know, the orange version or the blue version, and each one of the orange or blue versions I was disappointed in, so I wound up having to get the orange-blue version. So, to me, I think they are segmenting this, and it's going to be more. It's going to be tempting to get into some of the old stuff that Jill was saying was going on with cable channels, where it's tiered, and you're just not going to get a full spectrum of types of genres of media. You're just going to get you're going to have to pay for each genre you want.
Yeah. Derek, your thoughts?
I've pretty much gotten to the point of maybe I would look at one isolated simple plan, but for the most part, I'm just doing a la carte. I want this particular channel and this one, and then I can't keep track of who's on what news thing because they're all moving and changing. So a whole lot of broadcasters now are putting out their own content, and you can sign up for it and get, YouTube videos of whatever it is they're talking about. So I'm finding myself just managing 20 or 30 separate little tiny subscriptions that give me kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that, for sure. Guys, you subscribe to anything with TV?
Oh, I've got lots of subscriptions. The problem, well, of course, the problem is the cost.
Of course.
You look at something like Paramount, which, there's a couple things I want on there, but for the most part, it's Star Trek.
Right.
I have Star Trek. So they're charging $12.99, $13.99, whatever it is, and it's a very specialized view for me. There isn't a whole lot of other content that they have that I'm interested in. But then you've got Netflix, then you've got Amazon Prime, or whatever they call their subscription service, Apple TV, and all of the rest. And I remember when I got off of cable, my big concern with cable was I'm spending $230 a month for all these channels that I'm not watching. And now we are 10 years later, I'm spending $230 for a bunch of channels that has content I just don't want to watch. And it's like, wait, how did I get here? This is not my beautiful home. This is not my beautiful wife. And after a while, you're just kind of like, well, why can't it be simpler? And then you're talking about going back to a system like cable TV. the big problem is all of these bundled services don't have any control over the various other types of services that they include with their bundles. I mean, we all remember it wasn't that long ago. YouTube had some kind of falling out with Disney ESPN, and all of a sudden, people wanting to watch college football playoffs couldn't, because ESPN and Disney weren't allowing it to be transmitted to YouTube. They're holding YouTube hostage. CBS has done that as well.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
A lot of these different services just seem to think that, their excrement doesn't stink and that people are just going to pay whatever the hell it is that they want them to pay. And they don't understand that you're 50 cents away from losing half your viewership. So, don't be so quick to throw on extra charges just to, make a little more profit, thinking that this is going to go over to the next quarter, because eventually people are going to be like, you know what? I don't need to watch the British baking show, or I don't need to watch Star Trek, or I don't need to watch this. I don't need to watch that. And they start dropping channels. I'm looking at there's a couple of different services, and I won't name them here, that are on the cusp of going, you know what? I'm retired now on a fixed income. Maybe I don't need to keep some of these services that I had before. Sorry, soapbox.
That's
I
okay.
think what's nice now is at least we have some choices. So I'm the person who gets AMC for a month and I watch The Walking Dead and then I'm out. And then I get Netflix and I watch a couple of things and then I'm out. And so at least if you want to do that, you can do that. But back in the 90s, we had cable and it had 2 tiers. And you just wondered which tier your friends were on. And that was about all your choices. So at least you can. And you can even buy on Apple a season. So maybe I don't want to buy AMC for a month and watch The Walking Dead. I could buy the season of The Walking Dead and just be done with it.
Yep. All right. So let's. I got a couple more news stories here, real quick, before we head off to the sunset this week. That T-Mobile has launched a beta for free real-time call translation of any phone. They announced this yesterday as we record, a new live translation service feature that will allow conversations to be translated in real time when calling someone from any phone on the T-Mobile network. Live translation doesn't require any apps. It's a free service that T-Mobile is offering in a beta capacity. T-Mobile users can sign up for that test live translation on their website. There are limited spots available. The feature works with more than 50 languages and voice conversations, and translated for each speaker almost instantly. And they're saying that it can speak how they normally do on calls, and live translations detecting the languages and voices that are speaking in a natural conversation. It's going to be built into the T-Mobile network, so it works with any phone on T-Mobile, and even from iPhones to flip phones. So if T-Mobile users even call landlines and get translation capabilities because only one phone is connected, the call would be on the T-Mobile for translation to work. So you can enable it by dialing a *87* on your keypad, and you'll get that process. So this is obviously brand new, and I'd be interesting to see where that goes. Translations becoming a big thing, really, with all these translation services are out there, and Apple has it, and Google, and all the rest of them. Chuck, what are you thinking on this type of services? Do you think this is going to be anything good?
I don't know, Dave. I think you said it. There are a million different translation things going on out there. We saw a lot of them at CES, and they all kind of have their niche. They have their approach to things, and they have what they tell you are their use cases, some of which I buy into 100%, some of which I'm not so sure about. And of course, let's not forget about the AirPods that are sticking in everybody's ears that now have translation capabilities.
That's right.
So, is this a big deal? Is this going to become almost table stakes? I mean, has it become borderline table stakes at this point? I don't know. I'm not sure that short of having a particular business relationship where there would be regular international calls, I'm not sure that I would change over to a T-Mobile phone or acquire a T-Mobile phone specifically for this service.
Yeah.
But maybe that's good enough. Maybe they're targeting a particular part of the market that has this need on a consistent basis.
Yep. Anybody else with any thoughts?
I thought of two use cases, and corporate was one, and multinational families was the other. Grandma and grandpa live in Spain, and you want to talk to them. But.
Yeah, I have a Spanish sister-in-law and I have a Cuban sister-in-law, and I don't know. I mean, they both speak English reasonably well, especially the Cuban sister-in-law. But it might be kind of fun to talk to Marisa and have her hear me in her native language. Or maybe it'll be really bad and she'll finally understand what I'm talking about and then disown me from the family.
I would like it to do what Guy has suggested, but I'd like to do it in Klingon for whenever those robocallers call me or the telemarketers call me. I'd just like to respond in Klingon and take care of it.
Yeah, but the long distance charges kill you, Marty.
This is not a toll call.
Yeah.
As long as the Empire's paying for it.
Eric is crossing the streams.
Yeah, that's.
Well, just don't accept calls from Praxis.
Yeah. Guys, we got to move on here.
The only thing I was not able to get out of the article is where does the data go? Is any of it recorded to do quality checks? Do they hang on to it? Is it only going through an AI system that's clean and getting dumped? Or is it just being all contained and used for training? Because if you're having a business conversation overseas, you don't necessarily want the contents of the conversation going elsewhere.
Yep. All right. Let's the last story of the night here tonight. Apple is getting rid of iTunes wish lists. Hear how to save yours. Apple will soon do away with iTunes wish lists and features a movie and TV shows, according to emails going out to customers as of this week. Apple says the people who still have wish lists should migrate them over to the Apple TV watch list before the feature is removed. Each email that Apple's sending out gives a PDF with TV shows and movies that are on the individual's wish list. And Apple says that the users can tap each link and then tap the plus button to get the items appear in their Apple TV playlists. Apple began phasing out TV show and movie wish lists at the launch of iOS 17.2. In fact, that update removed the wish lists entirely without giving customers a heads up. People with extensive wish lists were understandably upset, but within a slew of complaints led to Apple to reintroduce it in 17.3. So it shows how you can do this and all that stuff. I have not used this. I don't know. Has anybody else used these? iTunes, come on. This is like old school.
Yeah. You gotta change hold on.
Yeah, your iPod, yeah. But they haven't given a specific date when the wish list will remove. No one here else has used these? I didn't think so.
What do you use wish lists for? I wish I could listen to this piece of music.
No, I think it was maybe it was
for somebody
purchases.
else.
It was for purchases.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got a bunch of purchases I did on the iTunes side of things on another Apple ID. That's a whole other story that I can't really watch, but I can go back and look at it and probably go watch it anyway. It's might be streaming somewhere, so I'm not overly worried about it anymore. So, all right. So that's a wrap on the show for this week. We had such a great time and great to have all of you here. So before we go, let's find out where people can find you. And I'm going to mix it up here a little bit, and I'm going to start with Marty Jencius. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Jencius, Jencius, at Mastodon and also on Blue Sky. Of course, Tuesday nights with Chuck and the gang on Mac Voices. Thursdays here with Dave bunch of other projects that I'm involved in, primarily with Dave and with Eric, doing Vision Profiles on Monday night at 9 p.m. streamed live on YouTube. And then other podcasts you can find at thepodtalk.net, and some new fun products coming out there.
Excellent. And Guy Serle, where can people find you? Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be had. Of course, there's the G-Men show, which is we just hit our 25th episode. Nice. That I do with Gazmaz. You can contact us via email, gmenshow@icloud.com. I can also be found over on two diametrically opposed social media sites, which is X and Blue Sky, as either Mac Parrot or Vert Shark. And we have a YouTube Google voice number. Wow, when was the last time anybody ever talked about that? 1-703-828-4677. And you can find them. You can just call us and give us hell for the show that we do. We're always looking for new 5 to 10 second bumpers that we play at the very beginning of the show. And lastly, there is the YouTube channel that I have under Vert Shark and all of the various things that I do. I've got like 700 videos up there that you can watch, going way back, Wilbur. It is so far back, people who used to watch My Mother the Car would remember it.
All right.
Jerry Van Dyke.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. And Eric Bolden, where can people find you? Thanks for being here as always.
I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mes.to. Otherwise, Monday nights on Vision Profiles covering visionOS stuff. Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live. Thursdays on In Touch with iOS here. So kind of moving through all of the OSs throughout the week, covering news and everything else.
Great. Thanks for being here. Chuck Joyner, thank you for being here as always. We appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Thank you, Dave. MacVoices.com is where you'll see all the people I'm talking to. Both you can hear them and see them. We are still releasing CES videos. I was kind of hoping to be able to get the last one out by the end of this week. And then I looked at how many I have to go, and I'm not sure it's going to happen. But they keep rolling out. And so the live show has been mentioned here, is Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. And on pretty much all the socials, you can find me as at Chuck Joyner. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thank you. Last but certainly not least, Jill McKinley, is always a pleasure having you here. Where can people find you?
Thank you for having me. You can find me at jillfromthenorthwoods.com. It has all my podcasts and social medias and how to email me. So I appreciate you being out there.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of you for being here. And let's go ahead and wrap it up. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at InTouchWithIOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe when you're notified for our live streaming on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thanks to everybody who was in the chat this week. Appreciate it. You can go there to watch the current and past live streams, as well as listen to past shows. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, and Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where the links, the way to listen to us are out there on that site. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on the following podcasts: Mac Vision Profiles on Monday nights with Eric and Marty, Tuesday nights on Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner and most of the people here on the show and more. You can find me on the show here on Thursday nights, of course, and on Fridays most of the weeks I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network, and then we have a little blast doing that. And you can find me on social media at Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. With that, that's a wrap. Thanks for being here. enjoyed doing the show, and I hope you enjoyed it. But until next time, we'll talk again soon.